What's up guys, my name is Mateo Hall. I just signed with a brokerage for my real estate license. I'm only 18 years old. I'm working a 9-to-5 job at $14 an hour. I have this YouTube channel and I plan on buying a house in the next 2 to 3 years, and here is how. So for those of you that are new to the channel, remember to leave a subscribe on the like button down below. I talk about all things money and the financial journey that I'm going on as an 18-year-old. Hopefully I make the mistakes so you don't have to, and we can create a little discussion going back and forth together. But let's get right into the content. Let's do it. Let's get started. So I live in Reno, Nevada, and Nevada has this first-time home buyers program called Home is Possible. The gist of it is that it's giving you a credit towards your down payment and closing costs whenever you're buying a home. For those of you that might not live in Nevada or in literally any other state, go ahead, research first-time home buyer in your state, and you'd be able to see a surprising amount of credits that probably exist to help you get into a home. So what Home is Possible is doing is it's giving you a 5% credit on your loan going towards closing costs and down payments. If that sounds a little confusing, just bear with me. We'll get into the specifics of it in just a second. Let's talk about a little bit of the prerequisites in order to qualify for Home is Possible, because they're not just handing out free money to everybody. That's how you lose money as a government. Not that our government would ever do that. So Home is Possible. Home is Possible you need is a one-time fee of $755, which is more than going to pay for itself. If you're using this credit towards buying a home, you need a credit score of 660, which check. And you have to be making less than either $93,000 or $98,000. Which, if you remember, I'm making $14 an hour at my 9-to-5 job, so that's a big old check right there. I'll be all right. And the home has to be priced either below $388,000 or below $510,000. The reason that these numbers are so different is because Home is Possible has two different programs. You could either go through their conventional method or their government method. Those are your conventional versus government loans, whether it be an FHA or Fannie Mae. You're going to be having to meet the standard underwriting for income qualifications and all that jazz. Plus, you're going to have to using this home as a primary residence, but don't fret, because what I'm going to be doing is buying either a duplex or a triplex, which is going to make it a lot easier to get into this home. Okay, now with all of that semantics out of the way, let's talk about the specifics of how I'm going to do it. I obviously qualify for it because I have a credit score well above 660, and I don't see real estate bringing in over $70,000 income in my first year. But if it does, that would be absolutely amazing, and I will not be complaining, because that'll just make it even easier for me to buy a home to begin with. So what, I have all these first-time home buyer programs. I still don't really have the income qualification to qualify for a loan. I mean, I don't have the income history, nor do I have the amount for a down payment to put 20% down, I hear you say. But you don't necessarily need 20% down on every single house that you're going to buy. I think it's well worth it to pay private mortgage insurance in order to actually get into real estate than to wait an extra year or 2 years and not pay it. Plus, if you ever refinance, do the BRRRR method, which we'll make a video about sometime soon, then you could get rid of that private mortgage insurance really fast. So let's take this $380,000 home. We'll slow down a little bit here because this is where the numbers start to get a little bit more complicated. If we put 5% down on this home, that is $19,000. Closing costs probably ballparking around another $10,000. Our 5% down, that means that we have a loan of $361,000. But we are getting a 5% credit from Home is Possible. That means that we're getting $18,050 back. I think you guys see where this is already going. Now, if I represent myself in this transaction, that is another 2.5% back, which means I'm getting an additional $9,500 at closing, which means my total obligation when paying for this house is a grand total of $950 at closing. That's how powerful first-time homebuyer programs are, but there is one problem with this. To qualify for a $361,000 loan, you'd have to be making at least $52,000, and I'm gonna be making somewhere in the 20s in the 2020 year. So I don't qualify for that at all. Now, there's 3 things that I could do from here. Number 1, and the most simple method, would probably be just to make more money. If I make more money, then I'm going to be able to qualify for more of a loan, and I could potentially even buy an even better house. Well, I don't really know where my income's going to be going for sure. I mean, this YouTube channel could blow up to 1 million subscribers, or I could stay at less than 200 all of next year, and I don't know how much I'm going to be moving in real estate. So that's something that if it works out, that's great. If it doesn't, we can't count on it. So the second thing we could do is lower the amount of income that we have to qualify for. You do this through what I was talking about earlier, getting either a duplex or a triplex. If you rent out the other unit or the other 2 units that you live in, you could then use the income that you're getting for rent on each of those units as a partial qualification for your down payment. So, if in this $380,000 house, I'm able to get a measly $1,200 in rent on 2 of these units, or $1,200 on 1 unit, then that'll take my qualifying income down to $41,000. That means I only have to make a difference of less than $20,000 at this point. Now, the third thing that we could do is put a higher down payment. With a higher down payment, you're going to be taking out less of a loan, which means less of a loan that you need to qualify for. Let's assume that you put, 10% down. Now, that's going to change a couple of things. It changes your down payment from $19,000 to $38,000, right? Closing is still going to stay the same at $10,000. My amount that I get back from real estate is still going to stay the same at $9,500 because we're not changing the price of the home. The other thing that's going to change here is the amount that I get from Home is Possible, because what they're giving me back is based off the loan amount. So instead of getting $18,050, I get $17,100. It's not terrible. I'm getting slightly less back from them, but I also am putting a higher down payment. And if we include the $1,200 qualifying from the rent that I'm getting in each month, now I only have to qualify for $38,000, which that still isn't great. Looking at a larger down payment, surely from the point of view of a qualifying cost, isn't going to lower the amount of home that you can qualify for that much. But something to keep in mind is your down payment is not only affecting your qualifying income in here, it's going to be affecting how much you're paying every single month in your mortgage ever so slightly. Granted, it's going to change a couple of dollars if you put down a couple of thousand more, but it's also going to impact how quickly you're paying off this private mortgage insurance if you put less than 20%. Now, before I go into this any further, I want to clarify that I am not a licensed CPA. I am not representing you, so talk to a CPA before you're doing anything like this, and don't trust some guy on the internet just because he says so. But without further ado, here is why I don't really mind paying PMI to begin with. So for my first home, I plan on buying either a duplex or triplex, or a single family home that's pretty beat up. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm taking advantage of what's called a 203k loan, not to be confused with your 401k. What is 203k loans doing is it's going to let you take out a loan in order to do repairs on a property. So if you get this property that looks absolutely terrible, needs new paint, carpets, a lot of cosmetic changes, stuff that you could fix relatively cheaply, and get a really big return on your money for, then what I'll do is take out a 203k loan on these to fix up the property. Maybe we could change a $300,000 home into a $400,000 home just by fixing it up a little bit and getting it up to market value with everything else. If I'm lucky, hopefully I'll get a home that used to be some hoarder's house, and it's just in shambles. I have to clean it up a ton. It's sold way under market value. I get this 203k loan. What do you do now? Now, I'm fixing up the house with this loan, but now I have 2 different loans out against a single property. What I'm going to do is refinance the home. Let's go back to this $380,000 home and change up the numbers a little bit. You put 5% down, giving you a loan amount of $361,000. You're going to take out another $50,000 loan through the 203k program, bringing your loan amount up to $411,000, but through the cost of doing repairs in the next couple of months, that's going to be paid down to, let's say, $408,000 for your loan amount. Now you're doing repairs on this property and suddenly it's worth $500,000. But now you have a $500,000 home with pretty much no equity in it. What you're going to do next is do a cash out refinance. Take out, say $408,000 in order to pay off both of those loans. And suddenly you're in a $500,000 home with 20% down with only $900. That's what I plan on doing, at least. Now, this method can be extremely effective, if not a little bit of extra work, because you have to know what you're doing. I am really excited to buy a home and slightly terrified. I mean, I haven't even moved into my first apartment yet. But using the tools of what rich people use and leveraging your money in a smart and financially aware way, you can get away with doing a lot more, and you get a lot more wealth in your pockets just by using programs that everyone has access to. So do some research in your own state. See what first-time homebuyer programs there are, because the government wants you to be wealthy, because then you could pay more taxes, except with real estate, you don't have to. So many benefits to owning real estate that I can't go over all of them in this video. I'll leave a link down below to my housing calculator and a ton of other cool stuff that I've done on real estate. So go check the description. While you're down there, sign up for a Discover card. If you don't have a credit card already, that's how you start to build credit. That's how you qualify for these loans. Just like in my state of Nevada, you have to have a credit score of at least 660 to even go through this program. So go to the link down below, sign up for Discover Card, and you'll get a free $50 just for signing up while you're there. And while you're waiting to buy all of your real estate and build your own empire, go ahead, sign up for Webull. Go down in the description and you could get, I think it's 4 free stocks now just by depositing $100. It is absolutely insane. Click that link down below to Webull. Or if you don't have $100, click the link to Robinhood down below and you get an entirely free stock. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, what are you doing? I'm bringing out new content every single Tuesday and Friday. I'm so sorry that I didn't bring out anything last Friday. It was Thanksgiving and I wanted to spend more time with family, but I hope you guys can forgive me for this one. Until next time though, I'm so excited to see you guys every single Tuesday and Friday, and I'm so happy to hear what kind of help that I can be providing you. And I know this last video that I did was really inspiring, and I heard all you guys in the comments just saying so many good things to each other. So until next time, love you guys. I'll see you around until we continue our financial journeys.